Welcome to an episode of Just More Fix. This is James. With me in this episode is Lacey. You can find us online at justmorefix.com or on Twitter at justmorefix. If you like us, you can support us at Apple Podcasts, or you can give us a rating and review at iTunes or wherever you find us at. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Zine Quest 2. And now, it's time to get our gaming fix.
I'm Willie D. Nelson from All Things Good and Nerdy, a pop culture podcast, part of the Gonna Geek Network. Just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other tantalizingly geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Welcome to Just More Fix. Today we are going to do a Zine Quest 2 wrap-up, similar to what we did last year, because we found so many awesome projects. Before we get into that, though, want to give a big shout-out to all of the people that have backed our Kickstarter for Three Sisters, as it is up on Zine Quest now. It went live today, and we are at 99% at this point as we record this. So big thank you to everyone that has come out to support us through our Kickstarter and through our Patreon, and if you are. And there are several that have supported us on both. So big thank you to all of everyone out there that is supporting us anywhere you support us. There will be a link in the show notes for our Kickstarter for the Three Sisters, and you should head over there and check it out. If you don't know what it is, you should head over to episode 140 and give a listen to that one. I'll link that in the show notes as well, where we game stormed the Three Sisters zine. Had a lot of fun doing that. So, all right, so I don't want to ramble on too much. We did a whole episode about Three Sisters, and you can go check out the Kickstarter for more information there. And if you have questions, you can hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, all the places that we're at. So today we're going to kind of go back and forth with some zines that we saw that we thought looked cool or inspired or just interesting, I suppose. And so you just want to go back and forth with a couple of these?
Sure.
So you want to start?
Okay. So I kind of divided mine into two rough categories. One is like things that look interesting in a serious way. And the other category is things that just look interesting because they're fun and some of them a little ridiculous.
Okay, right on. No, I'm all about it, yeah.
So which category do you like me to start with?
Give me 1 second and I'll see if I can break mine up that way. Fun and ridiculous, huh? Okay, so this one is going to be that one. Okay, I think I'm good. So which category do you want to start with first? Do you have more in one category than the other?
I think it's pretty even.
Okay, mine is not. So either way, we're good to go. It's okay. So go ahead and start.
Okay.
You pick one to do first and then just tell me what category it is. And when I say fun and ridiculous, it's not a shot at it. It's just something it's...
No, it's just interesting in a different way.
Right.
Like it's still caught my eye enough to talk about it. Right. And I'm like, oh, I would like to know more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start with fun in this.
Okay.
So my first one under fun and ridiculous is something called Dish Pit Witches.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And you play witches that work in a restaurant and you are doing the unglamorous jobs of dishwasher or busboy or hostess.
Right on.
That sort of thing. And it sort of reminds me of like the Give Me the Brain thing, the zombies at the fast food restaurant. It's just like a quick card game or, sometimes like just quirky ideas like that are fun. And
right.
I think it could be a really good... not too serious game session.
Right on. Kind of a palate cleanser, something cool to play between. A lot of these zines that I feel like are not modules for some other larger system, I feel are kind of like cool palate cleanser games, like one-shots that are super thematic. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just sort of good old fun. Right on. I saw that one. I didn't look at it too much. I thought you'd probably mention it, so I sort of, quickly perused it and then moved on. Alrighty. So my first one in the fun and ridiculous category is Derby Drama. And I thought it looked like a lot of fun. At first, I was like, what is this? Are you serious? And then I pulled it up and started kind of scrolling through it. The artwork for it looks really good. And it looks like roller derby.
Which is in and of itself fun and ridiculous.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, roller derby is a small circle or oval track, depending. And there are... it's usually women. Although I've been to a male roller derby thing, but I think most ones that are happening now are all female. I believe. I could be wrong though. So apologies to all the male roller derby athletes that are out there. But they skate in a circle and there's laps and it's kind of like a race, but it's like there's checking and pushing and a certain amount of theatrics to it all as well. And so I actually did clinicals. One of my preceptors was a roller derby person for the Circle City Roller Girls in Indianapolis.
Sort of like if you took like roller skating and combined it with track and then with WWE.
Yes. It's like the menage a trois of those three things. So I thought it looked fun, and it screamed a little bit of some Night Witches to me, because like I don't know, I didn't dig real deep into it, but I could see a thing where you could do like a kind of a much more lighthearted kind of on track off track cycle thing or whatever with it, and I saw there's how they had like the dice laid out for when you're on the track, doing the roller derby thing or whatever.
You have like the front on one side and the back because you're playing a
character.
You're like playing a character.
Whoa! So it looked lots of fun, and I think we're probably gonna get in on that one because it looked really cool.
All right, my second ridiculous one is called The Bone Age. So it's Stone Age characters fighting aliens.
I think that's an OSR one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it is. I saw it was like, you're serious, right? This is awesome.
I know, right? It reminds me of that. What's the Wild West with the aliens? I can't think of what it's called right now.
I know what you're talking about. Where it's like, wait, there's like spaceships? What is happening? Yeah.
The same
What
sort
is that? It's got Daniel Craig in it, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like, what?
Sometimes it's just fun to take two genres and smash them together. Like,
see what happens.
Makes no sense, and it's wonderful. Or does it? Because that's where the winds came from.
Right on. So that's Bone Age. I'm gonna try and link all these in the show notes. There's gonna be quite a few of them. So we'll I don't want to have try to keep our show notes pretty concise, but we'll see how it comes out. If not, you can just hop online and search Zine Quest or Zine Quest 2, and it should bring all these up for you. So my next one that is fun and ridiculous, but also a little scary, I suppose, is Social Dread Work.
Oh, I have too.
And it is interesting because it's, in one way, it's not ridiculous because it's very sort of prescient and realistic. And even in, so let me tell you what it is first, I suppose, before I go on about it. It is a game to introduce, I'm sorry, not a game. It is a zine to introduce sort of like corrupt corporations and the evil of corporations into your sort of games, right? Like,
but it's designed for fantasy games too, right?
Correct.
So
yes.
You have like, the Great Orc Enterprise.
Right. Well, that, and also it screams to me East India Trading Company because that existed, in the Great Age of Sail and all that kind of stuff. So I think sometimes we get kind of too caught up in the medievalness of fantasy and not applying some of the things that actually existed with guilds and that kind of stuff. And corruption obviously existed in every time. And so I thought it looked like a cool, fun take on things that isn't just the Thieves Guild. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, could be completely ridiculous. Do you know? So I thought it looked like it could add some interesting elements.
I'm honestly just picturing a magical Amazon-like delivery company that, you can direct order.
Right.
Spell components. Like, there's some like giant like corporate wizard who runs the tower of like mundane flying.
I can see they have like a bunch
creatures.
of like a bunch of like indentured sprites or something that have to like carry back guano to the, like this goes to this place, you gotta get there now. So I thought it looked like it could be fun and had some interesting.
Almost like a Monsters Inc., right? Like a wizard tower and then like portals that you could just like go in and out of and like order up the bowl and
right.
Giant. Anyways.
I thought there's a lot of cool potential there. And if nothing else, really good for inspiration.
Right, so the last one that's kind of on the border for me is the Orca Delirium zine. So I don't know if it's supposed to be silly, but the idea is just kind of like, oh, really? But then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So you're a collector of rare orchids and plants during the Victorian era, which really makes perfect sense and was probably actually a thing because they were all about having like exotic flowers and big gardens and terrariums and greenhouses and all this sort of like
was a great example of it
manicured gardens and things
in Penny Dreadful when Dorian Gray and Vanessa go to that terrarium and greenhouse and see the one orchid bloom or whatever that only blooms whatever it is every 20 million years or whatever the heck it was. And they do a good job of kind of presenting the idea. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's immediately what snapped into my mind.
And anywhere there's like money and powerful people, there's the opportunity for intrigue.
Right. Well, as soon as I saw it, I thought this is kind of interesting because, like you said, it's basically a treasure hunting game, but the treasure is just not what you think of, generally speaking, for most treasures, right? And I thought it very easily could translate into all kinds of stuff, whether it was bird watching or Pokemon cards, right? Do you know what I'm saying? I
like the flowers in particular, though, because it presents like a different element of difficulty, because normally you find the treasure and then the job's done, you stick it in your backpack, you go on.
Go away.
Like this
You
thing,
have to keep it alive.
has a certain ecosystem that it, and it can only survive in this temperature range and with this level of soil acidity.
Right, and it's fragile too, so right on, yeah.
Very squishable.
It's very cool. So I don't have any more. That was the next one I had that was kind of a little bit ridiculous. So I'm going to jump in with something that's probably a given for most people to just knock it out real quick, and that is Primeval. It's a mothership zine that's not actually by Tuesday Night Games, but it looks like it's sort of like a search and rescue survival kind of module with lots of random tables in the mothership vein, and looked like it had some pretty cool artwork, and really thematically it looked like it matched up with the designs of Dead Planet and the other zine that I can't think of the name of right now, Pound of Flesh. And so they looked very similar in their sort of aesthetic, like their art design, or however you want to say that.
Makes sense.
Looks very cool. I like it. But like I said, I do not think it is actually by Tuesday Night Games. I think it's by another someone else. But Mothership is out there in the wild, and what do you call it? There's lots of cool stuff that's been made for it.
All right. Well, I was actually out of... My next one is Passages of the Living. So it is a horror-based RPG setting. And it is reminded me a bit of Pan's Labyrinth. It's kind of a traveling world that's accessible from this world. So you can kind of drop it in anywhere, but it's designed to be horrific. And you actually can't die in this place. So it's supposed to be like so terrible that you wish you could.
But you can't.
Is the idea.
Like a purgatory kind of a thing?
Yeah. And also there was mention of Clive Barker's stories as inspiration. So that's always good.
You said Clive Barker and Jaeger went down the wrong hole. Ooh. Well, you have me at Clive Barker.
Exactly.
Always, I'm a big fan. I missed one. I have one that's kind of silly and ridiculous. It's called Campfire Memories. Did you see that one?
I did.
So, did you see what it was?
I read the one sentence intro.
So it's those camping trips that you went on as a kid with your family where something went horribly wrong, but horribly wrong in the sense that like no one's dying, but it's just those crazy family vacations that you went on that you overcame something,
Not Friday
right?
the 13th horribly wrong.
Exactly. More like Home Alone wrong or something, right? So I thought it just...
RV, that ridiculous movie with
Robin Williams. Yeah. Yep. So
and the boy that would go on to be PETA.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is him, isn't it? Oh, wow. Right on. So I just thought it looked like good, ridiculous fun, kind of like a great palate cleanser game. Do you know what I mean? Maybe after you got done with something that was kind of grim, and serious, sort of like maybe after a Night Witches or after a 10 Candles or a Bluebeard's Bride, something like that. It would be a good, quick one-shot, couple-hour, palate cleanser to sort of crush everybody and then lift them back up, maybe. All righty. So what's your next one?
So my next one is World Mercenary.
I didn't see that one.
And Sandman, or possibly Don't Rest Your Head.
Okay.
But basically you play people that go in and into people's dreams and manipulate things within their dreams subtly in order to make things happen, it looks like.
I don't know what the deal is today, but I think that you have all the adjectives and descriptive words to make me be like, ooh, I like this. You're like Pan's Labyrinth, Clive Barker, Don't Rest Your Head.
It was the descriptors. It's not
Neil
adjectives,
Gaiman.
they're just like examples.
I know. But I'm just saying, like, they were like, oh, yes, you got me.
They may pull up different things for different people, but
Right.
those are the things I like and can...
Right. So my next one is just Xenomap, and it's just a series of maps.
Oh, I saw that one.
And it's super easy, and they're ones that you can drop into your game really easy if you need a quick map. Also, if you back it at the appropriate level, you can have... they're all open source maps, but if you back at the appropriate level, along with the regular PDF, you get the images at 3000 DPI, which is so if you want to use them in your own publications, yeah, he's giving you permission to use them in your own zines or productions or whatever you do.
Really cool.
So that was really cool. So, but the maps were good. They're good quality maps, so they look really cool.
So my next one is called The Beloved Underbelly. And
You found all ones that I did not see, apparently.
I hope they're all like active ones. I think they are. I went back and crossed one off my list because it's last but I'm pretty sure these ones are all current. There is a book by Terry Pratchett that I'm not able to recall right now, but it's about a boy who exists largely in the sewers under London and like collects things and wanders around down there, and that's kind of how I read it. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called right now, but this is kind of what it reminded me of. So you have like this kind of suppressive sort of environment up top, and then more of this free market sort of chaos happening underneath. It's literally like underneath the city. It's intriguing.
Right on. All right, so my next one is The Grizzle. And so it said it was sort of like a surrealist fantasy kind of weird RPG. And the minute you start talking about surrealism for me,
I saw that one. I was like, James is going to have this as list.
Draws me right in. So it seems like an interesting combination of what I have tried to do with our zine, where it's a combination of sort of the Powered by the Apocalypse philosophy of gaming, but combined with the OSR philosophy of gaming with the way you do rolls and that kind of stuff, using a dice roll mechanic and that kind of stuff. So it looked kind of interesting and intriguing. Yeah, I can't remember what the setting exactly what it was. It's like a surreal city, and they call them Grizzies or Z's or something like that and whatnot. It's really one of those things where you just look at so many of these so quickly, you know, they kind of blend together. But the artwork looked kind of interesting and evocative, especially the cover image or whatever. And so, yeah.
Cool. So my next one is called A Fine Mess, and it is a Blades in the Dark hack, and it is a heist scenario stuff.
Right.
And it's got that similar sort of, it's not really like steampunk. There's like that, but it's got, you know, like techno and stuff. So it's a blend of, I think the effect of if the world of magic and had merged with the regular world about 100 years ago, and how that would inform progress from there.
Right on.
But yeah, basically, I really in the dark. A hack of that is intriguing.
Do you really like Blades in the Dark that much?
I think it's a cool concept. I like the world, and I kind of liked the gang sort of aspect
of it.
the heist. Huh. I like a good heist game.
Interesting. Maybe we should bust out. I got that Scum and Villainy, which is sort of like Firefly or a Star Wars, you know.
I like stealing stuff.
Version of it. Maybe we should bust that out and give it a shot, because I got it and thought it was neat, and I wanted to see how they changed it. It's sort of one of the big reasons why I got it. Looked good, but we should maybe bust that out. Check it out.
There's something about those, you know, like that sort of, well, you know, we grew up in the Indiana Jones era, you know, and those are basically heist scenarios. It's like a super complex heist.
More or less, yeah, I would agree. Right on. So my next one is Dice Roll number 3, and it's basically just a classic OSR zine with adventures and that kind of stuff in it. However, the one thing that caught me was the cover. It showed it has a full cover image. So like if you open the cover up and lay it flat, there's a full image, and the artwork on it was really, really cool. And I thought it was like they showed some of their previous ones and that kind of stuff. So the artwork looked really good. Some really kind of cool ideas in there. But again, it's just sort of like one of those it's not a shot at it, but when you say like just like regular SOR signature of refusal, you're not going to the hospital, Zine.
It's full OSR.
Yeah. So it's like a regular kind of straightforward OSR zine with, you know, some kind of module in it and that kind of stuff. So, but what really caught my eye was just the sort of the evocative images and that kind of stuff that they had in there. So I thought it looked really cool. And it's a third zine in their series, similar to us. So they've got something kind of a progression going on, something they're producing.
So this next one, I'm not sure how. So I don't know, or Saturnine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
One. Yeah.
Saturnine Sanctuary is to me, and it is no surprises that it's on my list. A bestiary for Dungeon World, and we don't really play much Dungeon World, but a good bestiary can be utilized in any gaming system.
Right.
In my professional.
Well, and then. Like you said, we don't play a lot of Dungeon World, but one of the things that I thought was really cool about Dungeon World is that each of their monsters has a couple like motivations. So it's like if you don't know what to do with this monster, these are their top 3 motivations in order 1, 2, 3, right? So if you're not sure, follow these 3 motivations in that order, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought it's one of a really cool take that they have on monsters specifically for Dungeon World.
Well, and the creatures in this were a little weird. So they were almost Fae-esque.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
What is wobbly? Do it again. Oh, that's it. No, take it off. Sometimes it's about narrowing down exactly what it is that's making the thing. Okay. All right. So this is my last one, and this is the one that I thought looked really, really cool in terms of artwork and evocative imagery. It's called The Dark Deep Night Fathoms is what it's called. Oh, I'm sorry. Deep Nightly Fathoms is what it's called. So it is a role-playing game about looking at the engravings of this 19th century artist. I'm going to say the name wrong, probably Gustav Dore, D-O-R-E with a tilde, Dore maybe? Whatever.
I feel like if there's an accent mark on it, you don't think with it.
It's true. So it's got all these engravings, and they're all kind of dark and surreal and, really pretty and so, yeah, it looks really cool. So, yeah, I don't know. It just looked really evocative in the artwork and stuff. And huh? Yeah, I know, right? But it's interesting because there's all this artwork now that's coming into the public domain, and I think it's getting more and more popular for people to realize. And I'm not sure if this is public domain, although if it's 19th century, it should be, unless it's an entire collection. But it looks really, really cool. So yeah, I guess the premise of the game is that you're charting. It's a point crawl game, and you're using the like Miseries and Misfortunes, the Luke Crane zine that turned into a 200-page book from last time. And it's a point crawl game, and you're trying to link these images together in terms of like what is happening in the story. And I think you're searching for a star or something. That's part of the premise of the game or whatever. So, but it looked really, really cool. And I imagine if I'm correct in what I'm saying, I think there would be a significant amount of replayability, because depending on what order the images go in, could really change the way the story flows and whatnot. So it looks really, really cool, though, I think, and super pretty. So there's a lot of public domain stuff out there by some true art masters that'll be good. So, well, yes, that one's, what is it? Deep Nightly Fathoms. So that's my last. Do you have any more?
No.
Oh, right on. That's weird. We picked the exact same amount. Right on. So lots and lots and cool stuff on there. Do you have like a top couple that you would say like your top 3 for out of there?
So probably the Saturnine Sanctuary, because I have a beery problem.
Right.
And I think the Bone Age.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's just so silly, and I just want to be involved in that.
Right on. One more? I said 3.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said a couple. I wasn't obviously not listening.
I may have. I don't know.
Roll the tapes. No. So I'm going to go with A Fine Mess.
Okay, right on.
Dark heist hack.
I saw that one. I really thought about mentioning that one, but I kind of, I wasn't sure, and kind of back and forth, and I had a pretty big list as it was, so right on. So my top 3 are going to be Derby Drama, because I think that just looks like wicked fun. Like a really good time. Primeval, because Mothership, hard to go wrong there. And Deep Nightly Fathoms, because it looks so good. With an honorable mention to the Xeno map, because
that's not fair.
The utility of it is just too much to not be like, this is just a great tool. 37 maps, come on, and it may be at this point, I don't know, 38 or 39, depending on if they've hit their stretch goals. So I mean, if you want to throw an honorable mention in there, go for it. No, not doing
you
it.
said 3. I picked 3.
I'm a rule breaker, even if they're my own rules. Right on. So there are loads and loads of awesome zines out there this year for Zine Quest 2. So Zine Quest ends February 29th, because this is a leap year this year. So
one extra day of Zine Quest.
Yeah. So I believe the rules of Zine Quest is anything, it has to start in February.
We should have kept. There's just something magical about ending on leap day.
Leap day.
Anyway. It's obviously good luck for sure.
So there are
terrible luck.
Or it could be. Who knows? Time will tell. But not next year.
4 years from now.
Yeah.
We will risk.
So there may be more projects that are popping up throughout the next couple weeks. So if you see anything that looks really cool and you want to shed some light on it, or share it with us because you think, hey, I'll share some awesome games with some other gamers, because we really, really enjoy that, go ahead and give us a shout out and let us know what it is, because we would love to check it out. You can hit us up in all the places, because we're all over the place. Yeah, so there are lots of really cool projects out there, and it's a really cool time to be able to support smaller and independent creators, because Zine Quest, if you don't know, it's the second year for it, obviously, and it's been really cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff that came out last year, and especially with a whole bunch of brand new creators, I think I've gotten everything that we back, basically. So especially for brand new creators, first time trying to do a project and get it out the door and published and all that kind of stuff, was really, really happy with the results of the projects that we supported, and lots of great feedback and cool stuff happening. So hopefully the same is true again this year. And yeah, I think that's it. So quick shout out for our zine again, just to mention, Three Sisters is out on Kickstarter now. So that Kickstarter closes at 11 p.m. Eastern on February 25th. So we would love to have your support over there.
It'd obviously been my number 1 pick.
True that.
Well, not yet, but I will.
So you can check that out over there, and you can get it in print and PDF format depending on what level you support at. And in addition to that, if you support the appropriate level, you can get copies of our previous zines that we have done, because Three Sisters will be our third zine that we're publishing now. So big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We really appreciate all the support you guys give us, because we couldn't do this podcast without you guys. So everyone should be awesome and head over to patreon.com/JustOneMoreFix and join our awesome Patreon supporters like Timothy Barra, Hector Trelane, Tiziano Furlano, Alistair H., Simon McNair, Alan White, and the OG Todd Olson. As you know, we are also a member of the Gun Geek Network, so you should head over to gungeeknetwork.com if you are like me and an addict to podcasts. And you are addicted to podcasts and continually run out of them because you spend too much time in the car. And check out some of their geeky content that they have over there, and get a little bit more of a podcast fix. Cool, right on. All right, so lots of awesome projects to check out this week. Or not this week, this month. So lots of awesome podcasts to check out this month through Zine Quest 2. So head over to Kickstarter and check them out, and support the ones that you think look good and speak to you. And we will see you all next week.
Thanks for listening. This has been an episode of Just One More Fix. Music has been provided by Kevin MacLeod. You can find him at incompetech.com. You can support us at patreon.com/JustOneMoreFix, or follow us on Twitter at JustOneMoreFix.